This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by dansInkandToner.com. Ink and toner and a whole lot more. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and every week I come to you guys with tips and tricks and tutorials and interviews and a lot of different stuff that's hopefully going to help you understand how to use media better so that you can increase God's kingdom, because our goal is to help share the story of Christ using the media around us. At least that's what our role ends up being a lot of times. So I want to help you guys do that effectively. And joined with me every single week is the three wise men and Jesus. And if you tuned into last week's episode, you heard about our melee with our desk and how everyone got injured, and well, they're all still injured. So our three wise men this week include Fred Flintstone, little injured Whitey, Colonel Sanders, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. So this week we're going to give you guys a whole bunch of resources, as well as a great place to find some inspiration and a whole lot more. So if the three wise men and Jesus are ready, let's get into it. So let's grab you guys some resources from the stockpile, and the first resource is from Church Tech Arts, and they have a great article on helping vocalists master their monitors, and I think this is a good read for anybody who's doing mixing, on talking about how to work on that relationship between sound guy versus person on stage. And so I think this is really important for all you guys out there to be working through. How does that relationship go? Because that can be one of the worst things, is when a sound guy doesn't understand the people on the stage, and the people on the stage don't understand the sound guy. Which also leads me to a little behind the scenes. We're going to be doing a behind the scenes look at ownthemix.com soon, which talks a lot about that. So stay tuned in the upcoming weeks for that one. Next, we have from aetoots.com 14 free stock footage and green screen plate resources. And this has a bunch of different places: art beats, green layers, footage film, stock footage for free, demolition films, which we talked about a week or two ago, always HD, a bunch of different places that you can get some free stuff from. And the first one is videocopilot.net, which happens to be our next resource. We've talked a lot about videocopilot.net in the past. They have great stuff like videocopilot.net/basics, which is basic training on After Effects and how to get started. But they have a lot more than just that. And one thing that he started doing lately is he actually started this on the blog. He's been doing some video updates, and so one of the latest ones, he talks about the Canon 7D and some different tips in there, as well as he just did a 2-part interview with John Dickinson from MotionWorks, and I just finished watching those, and they're really cool behind the scenes, like how did you get started with this? How did you start understanding After Effects, and how do you work in After Effects? How does your company actually work? And it's a really cool behind the scenes about how all of that is working, and how he's grown to be doing, he did the ending credits for Star Trek, and he started in After Effects like 4, just screwing around. And it's just kind of amazing to see, how that has all worked together. So you can check that out, as well as they got a lot of great tutorials. They got a new one, Submerged, which you can see here. They like go underground, and it's pretty crazy looking. So check out videocopilot.net, aetoots.com, and churchtecharts.org. Well, this week's inspiration is something a little bit different than normal. It's still video, because you know me, I love video, but it comes to you in a little bit different form. Recently, Granger put on their Innovate conference, which this year was called Exposed, and one cool thing that they've done is you can relive the Exposed conference. So if you go to innovateconference.com and hit relive it, you can watch all of the sessions, as well as an arts mashup and the People's Choice Awards for different or actually up here at the top, that's what I'm looking for, the Granger Film Festival. So you can watch all of the entries as well as you can watch the session and see who won. And their film festival was really cool, and you got to see what a lot of people were doing. It was one of my favorite parts about the Gurus of Tech conference this summer was seeing what other people are doing at other churches. And it was very inspirational because it was like, hey, this isn't just, some cool Coca-Cola commercial or something like that. This is a video somebody is using at their church to intro a message or to display a point or all these different things. So check out the innovateconference.com, and thank you to the guys at Granger for helping put out this resource for free that everybody can take part in what went on there and not just holding it to yourself. It's pretty awesome that they do that. So check that out and get inspired. Well, this week's freebie is another game. As I told you guys last week, me and my wife are heading up our middle school ministry Moto, and so I've been making a lot of games lately, and one game that I spent some time on was called Famous Faces. And basically, I cut out everyone's face on the screen, and you give them a time limit and throw them up there, and they have to guess who the person is. And this is like a small group based game, but there's like 20 different slides with multiple people on each slide, so there's a lot of them you can use. You could split this up into multiple weeks. So I'm going to give you guys all the files for this Famous Faces game. You can see some of them behind me, like the Jonas Brothers and others like them. And so you can check these out. They'll be in widescreen and in full screen. You can download those from the website. So grab them up or something. Well, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, which is a longtime sponsor. It's dan'sInkandToner.com. Now, if you haven't heard about what Dan has to offer, it's wholesale ink and toner, as well as you can sign up for full-service leasing programs or a just full-service printer program where you buy a printer and you get full-service maintenance on it, as well as your ink and toner at wholesale costs, or you can do that as a lease, or you can just buy ink and toner. So head over to dan'sInkandToner.com. You can sign up for the store by clicking here, and by clicking here, and you can sign up for the store there, as well as you can send Dan an email, dan@dan'sInkandToner.com, or you can call him at 800-257-8616, and he'll let you know what's best for your church and what's going to save you guys the most money. So help us out by checking out dan'sInkandToner.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. You may have noticed that there was no tutorial, there was no nothing. It was just kind of a short episode of links. And the reason for that was we had a lot of problems with the interview we were trying to do and a lot of issues that hopefully we'll have figured out so we can do another interview. We were planning on interviewing the guys from Church Tech Talk about their new video podcast opposed to their old audio podcast, but we weren't able to do that, so this is what you get, and next week we'll be back with a whole lot more, so stay tuned for that, and we'll have a lot more resources as well as tutorials and a whole lot more. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you can email me, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. Hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/CMDTV. You can also leave a comment on the website. Go to our store, ChurchMediaDesign.tv/store, and pick up a t-shirt. And last but not least, if you want to find out more about Adam, CMD TV on Twitter, you can check out the business he's working at, which does a lot of great stuff for nonprofits and organizations around the country, and it's www.ancross.com, and you can check out their projects and most recent work there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying see you later.